Podría ver si Chona está todavía en la cocina. Que ella podía venir un rato conmigo. I'd like to have her, we're going to have you translate if you don't mind, because but she was in on this thing, full tilt. And if we could get her to come in tomorrow morning, that'd be good. And she'll give you some stories and some things. She was there. Lost her husband in '81. And we had 10 kids hiding from death squads in the church. And just touch on this one up in Quiche. Somebody had to go and get them. She said, "I'm going." I said, "John, you can't. You got 3 children, and I'm going." She went and got them. Told the military checkpoints, the soldiers, "Get out of the way. I'm taking my kids." Of course, you know, they're young Indian kids, and they know better than cross a Maya and Mama. So they got them. But anyway, let me go into this just a little bit now to show what is happening even today, and one of the dangers that we have to face and realize. With rather than dividing the world into these 5 cultures, and as you mentioned earlier, when you come down, you kind of have, there's some kind of a sense of, well, I think that's sharing another culture that brings that about. What we've done, instead of this dealing with those 5 categories of cultures, we've really divided the world in half. We have the rich and the poor, the first and the third, as I mentioned over there. And then there's that famous statistic. We have 80% of the world's resources are used by 20% of the world's population, leaving then 20% of the world's resources having to be shared by 80% of the world's population. I've read where that statistic comes from. I have forgotten. I didn't mark it down. But it's seen commonly in any kind of social justice and integral human development writings. So what we've done in the dividing the world in half is we don't get a real good picture. Oh, okay, gracias. And the bad thing about it is we're in an age of globalization where we have no excuse. Globalization is not based on economics. The globalization is actually based on communication. The globalization of our own era. Globalizations anywhere are going to be dealing primarily with communication. You know, we're in an age of history of the earth, the history of the world, the history of civilization. There's a phenomena going on every day, and it's hard to even imagine. We can sit down on a television set and watch something going on in color with sound on the other side of the world with a 4-second delay. And when you think about that, we take it for granted because we do it all the time. And then there's that terrible, frightening phenomenon where you sit down at a typewriter and put some words on a screen, push a button, and instantaneously, on the other side of the world, it's on somebody else's screen. Even when it's cloudy. When you stop thinking about those things, you're just amazed. And then what is communication for? You ever think of that? How come there's communication? What do you think? Shona, ¿usted va a poder platicar un poco con ellos?
Sí, ¿cuándo quieren?
Mañana.
Mañana.
La mayor
Sí,
parte se van.
Sí.
Mañana después del mercado.
¿Qué día es mañana? ¿A las 3 está bueno?
Buena tarde.
¿O ellos quieren en la mañana?
When do you think it's best? 3 in the afternoon, or do you want it in the morning? What's good for everybody? 3 in the afternoon? In the morning she has to go to market.
¿Está
She
bien?
gets the food and she owns the market, so they have to bring it to mercado. Ok, a las 3 de la tarde.
¿Está bien?
Y tenemos una persona para ti.
¿Está bien?
Ok,
Está bien, dale.
gracias, esperamos. Get her to do that for you, and then she'll really get into that. And appreciate it.